The Overton Window is a model that describes the range of policies or ideas that the public finds acceptable at any given time. This window separates normal discourse from the unthinkable. It defines the boundaries of what is considered sensible policy. Importantly, this window is not controlled by politicians. Instead, it reflects the shifting sands of public opinion. Politicians must operate within these boundaries to maintain public favor. They often wait for the window to shift before they feel safe enough to embrace new ideas. The Overton window represents the range of policies that the public will accept at any given time. Ideas inside this window are considered within the mainstream. At the center are policies labeled as sensible and popular. These are ideas that most citizens agree with, and politicians can support these without fear of professional backlash. As we move outward toward radical or unthinkable, ideas become increasingly outside the norm. Proposing these often risks a politician's career, regardless of the idea's merit. This window acts as a filter, defining the boundary of political viability. It is not permanent. It shifts as societal norms and digital discourse evolve over time. Politicians rarely shift the political spectrum themselves. Instead, they act as followers of what is already considered acceptable. The actual drivers of change are academics, media figures, activists, and grassroots digital movements. These groups repeatedly introduce radical concepts into public discourse. By normalizing fringe ideas, they gradually stretch the boundary of what the public finds tolerable. Eventually, ideas once deemed unthinkable creep into the mainstream, forcing politicians to adjust their platforms to remain within the new, shifted window. In the past, the Overton window represented a singular, shared spectrum of acceptability, a unified space where society generally agreed on the boundaries of public discourse. By 2026, the digital landscape has fundamentally changed. The rise of the splinter net and powerful algorithms has shattered this shared window. We no longer share one window. Instead, we have fragmented into distinct micro-windows. Algorithms curate content so effectively that communities now exist in isolated silos. In this environment, an idea considered unthinkable in one community is viewed as perfectly acceptable or even mandatory in another. The result is a fractured perception of reality. As the middle ground vanishes, these digital bubbles define the limits of what is considered normal for each group, accelerating societal polarization. In 2019, the idea of universal remote work was largely unthinkable for most traditional sectors, existing outside the spectrum of mainstream corporate policy. However, necessity rapidly pushed this concept through the window. By 2025, it had shifted from radical luxury to standardized labor policy. Similarly, strict AI regulation was dismissed as science fiction just a few years ago. It sat well outside the bounds of what leaders considered sensible. Public safety concerns created a tipping point, forcing legislators to move these ideas into the mainstream. Today, comprehensive AI safety frameworks are widely considered sensible policy. In 2026, the Overton window has become elastic. It no longer holds a fixed shape, but stretches to include previously unthinkable, extreme ideas. However, this stretching leads to a hollowed-out center. Discourse is increasingly migrating toward the extremes, leaving the middle ground sparsely populated. When the window stretches too far, it becomes fragile. It eventually snaps back with force, driving deeper societal polarization as the gap between opposing views widens. It is vital to remember that the Overton window is a descriptive model. It explains how political change happens, but it does not dictate whether an idea is morally right or wrong. It serves as an analytical tool, helping us understand why specific ideas gain traction in the public discourse, while others are dismissed, regardless of their intrinsic merits. Importantly, the model is not prescriptive. It does not advocate for specific policies or moral stances. It describes the boundaries of political acceptability in a given society at a given time.